So let's create the user first. User add no shell, that is shell is false, and the user is alert manager, because that will create a system user. Now we are going to pull the binary. This is the binary file, same way at the same location, Prometheus alert manager, and this is 0.0.24 version. If you see, we have this file now. We can extract the file tar-xzf. If you want to verify also, you can use v verbose alert manager. So these are the files. If you see, there's a YML file, there's a license notice, and this is a binary. So these are two binary files. Again, alert manager is also the binary file, just like Prometheus. So copy alert manager, the file alert manager binary file to user bin, then AM tool to this user bin, and the configuration file to etc alert manager after making the directory. So ch1 alert manager group, alert manager user, user bin alert manager, the binary, and the binary alert manager and alert manager tool. Now what we can do is we can delete this file. This file is no more required. In fact, I can delete both this file also and the directory also, because we copied whatever we wanted to copy at the right location. Though these files are always keep your system clean. So we have cleaned up this extra files. Going to do what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the backup of alert manager YML file. This is default system provided files. Just for testing purpose, this will be good enough, but I'm going to use a comprehensive file. So I'm taking the backup of this file, alertmanager.yml or .yml.back, and I'm going to create my own file here. Alertmanager.yml will explain the content of the file during the session, but I'm creating a new file, etc alertmanager.yml. Now if you see here, this URL is dummy. You have to use your own Slack URL. If you have a Slack hook configured where notification can land up, this was my webhook URL I created. So you create your webhook URL and be ready. Like you must be having a URL for a notification. So you be ready with that URL, because you are going to change it. For the time being, we are not testing it. We'll test it later. But this is for that purpose. A default notification channel. I'll explain the rest of the content in this file, and we are good to change the ownership again for this alert manager configuration also. That is etc alert manager alertmanager.yml. Now we need to create the systemd script. So make directory slash data alert manager on, change the ownership, and then recursively change the ownership of this etc alert manager to alert manager. Also, it will be very easy for you to understand that what we are going, because the method is same. So the systemd script for this is going to be unit is alert manager. It require network.online target. After network online, service name is type is simple, user is alert manager, group is alert manager, work directory is etc alert manager. Executable files are located here with this parameter, with configuration and with storage path. That's precisely what we created. And restart always, install wanted by multi-user target. That means you need to have multi-user target in order to make it work, so that Prometheus have the job specific to this alert manager. In the alert manager, this is a section we are creating in Prometheus alerting. As I discussed, Prometheus can be configured to send alerts using alert manager. So therefore, this is alerting session, static configuration, target is 9093. This is the target where my alert manager would be running. So it will be taking the configuration from this 9093 and sending the alerts using alert manager. So this is alert manager specific configuration. It mentioned the details of Prometheus. So we need to specify that also here. Everything, this is existing line. We are just putting this extra line here. And indentation for systemd script, indentation is not mandatory, but it is good practice. And space, there should be no space. There should be no space after the slash. If there is a space after slash, then it will be not working, because ultimately this is one command from here to here. This is one command. So we are breaking the command into multiple lines. Therefore, the space, the slash becomes mandatory. So be careful about this. We need to tell the same thing to Prometheus also. Look, hey, we are using alert manager, so we need to make an entry for alert manager here in this line. And in fact, the first line, it should have slash at the end because we are continuing the line in alert manager. So put a blank line, put a slash. Again, I'm highlighting for systemd unit indentation is optional and recommended, not mandatory. But for YML, it is mandatory. Now I can reload my daemon, systemctl daemon reload, and I can restart my Prometheus and restart my alert manager. Now I can verify systemctl status, and you can specify the both these commands in one go. Systemctl status of Prometheus and alert manager you can give in one line, no problem. So this is Prometheus status running, alert manager running. Both services are working fine. You need to enable it with systemctl enable alert manager. We are following Linux philosophy of creating scripts, system managed scripts, and we need to reload the firewall. Now I can check port number 9093 on my 10.10.10.10.0.100 9093, and this is our alert manager. Alerts, there is no alert created so far, no silences, no status. We will discuss this session, and this is our configuration file which we created. So the rules are coming from the same thing here. So this file is what I created. It will pull that file for you. Let's proceed. So session 3, alerting using alert manager. Agenda is introduction to alerting, alert manager, alerting rules, setting up alerts, alerting. Alerting with Prometheus is separated into two parts. Alerting rules in Prometheus servers send alerts to an alert manager. An alert manager then manages those alerts, including silencing of alerts, inhibition of alerts, aggregation, and sending out notifications via methods such as email or chat platforms. The main steps of setting up alerting and notifications are set up and configure the alert manager, configure Prometheus to talk to alert manager, which we have seen, create alerting rules in Prometheus. We have not discussed, but that was a quick glimpse of the template. Alert Manager handles alerts sent by client applications such as Prometheus server. It takes care of deduplicating, grouping, and routing them to the correct receiver integration such as email, webhook, and Opsgenie. We will discuss one use case, one example of webhooks, not right now, but in lab number 11 and 12. So wait for that, because we'll come back to the webhook and we'll talk about this, and we'll be sending alerts, we'll be verifying this. It also takes care of silencing and inhibition of alerts. How Alert Manager works. You need to configure Prometheus to send alerts to Alert Manager. Then we create rules in Alert Manager. Based on the rules, it can send the alerts to PagerDuty, email, or Slack, or other notification services. So this is the scope of Alert Manager. This is how Alert Manager works. Set up an instance of Alert Manager. Configure Prometheus instance to use Alert Manager. You have seen that. That was the purpose of demo team. When you have seen the setup configuration, which I will be doing every time, every lab assignment I'm going to demonstrate, so that you feel confident that the lab does not have problem, lab is working fine. And also when you go through the lecture before after the presentation is over, you feel that visual picture that yeah, Ram was doing something related to this Prometheus instance to use Alert Manager. Then create alert rules in Prometheus. Test Grafana and Prometheus alerts, like we can configure Grafana also to use alerts. So we'll be working on Grafana on day 4. Set up Alert Manager for Prometheus alerts. Alert Manager rules are conceptualized as routes. Means every rule have a corresponding route, giving you ability to write sophisticated set of rules to determine where notifications should end up. A default receiver should be configured for every notification. That means global setting. There should be one global setting and there should be specific settings for specific set of rules. For example, if you are monitoring server downtime or the CPU workload. So if the CPU uses go beyond a certain level, then you should send the alerts to admin team where they will look at the scalability and performance part. Whereas if the application is down a certain type of alert, then you may send the application alert to the developer team. So whether team based chats or team based email IDs or server down SMS notification, all possibilities are there. You can send any kind of alert with alert manager. Then additional services can be configured through child routes that match certain conditions such as like outage, okay, for send the alert to pager duty. Matches a particular team, okay, send the alert to team chat. Matches a particular group, okay, send the mailing list, send to mailing list. So these are default receivers can be configured or specific receivers can be configured. Grouping of alerts. Grouping categorizes alerts of similar nature into single notification. Look at this example. The dozens of instances of a server are running in your cluster when a network failure occurs. Half of your service instances can no longer reach the database. Alerting rules in Prometheus were configured earlier to send an alert for each service instance if it cannot communicate with the database. As a result, hundreds of alerts are sent to Alert Manager, which are not real root cause of the problem. One can configure Alert Manager to group alerts by their cluster and alert name so that it sends a single compact notification rather than hundreds of separate individual notifications. Grouping, timing of group notifications, and receivers of those notifications are configured by routing tree in the configuration files. Inhibition of alerts. Inhibition is a concept of suppressing notifications of certain alerts if certain other alerts are already firing. Look at this example. An alert is firing that inform that an entire cluster is not reachable. Alert Manager can be configured to mute all other alerts concerning this cluster that particular alert is firing. This will prevent notifications for hundreds or thousands of firing alerts that are unrelated to the actual issue. Inhibition are configured through Alert Manager's configuration file. Silencing of alerts. Silences are a straightforward way to simply mute alerts for a given time. A silence is configured based on matches, just like routing tree. Incoming alerts are checked whether they match all the equality or regular expression matches of an active silence. If they do, no notification will be sent out of that alert. Silences are configured in the web interface of Alert Manager. Client behavior and high availability. Client behavior here. The Alert Manager has a special requirement for behavior of its client. Those are only relevant for advanced use cases where Prometheus is not used to send alerts. And high availability, Alert Manager support configuration to create a cluster for high availability. This can be configured using hyphen cluster hyphen then this multiple options here flags. It's important not to load balance traffic between Prometheus and its alert manager, but instead point Prometheus to a list of all alert managers. Installing Alert Manager, we created the user, we have seen that. Download Alert Manager and extract the file, you've seen that action. Move Alert Manager and AMP tool binaries to the respective places. Then ensure that correct permissions are in place. Change ownership. Change the ownership of user bin AMP tool and user bin Alert Manager. Remember, local is wrong here. This is old change which needs to be changed. It should be user bin. I mean, you can keep it, but then everywhere it should be user local bin. Now this is alertmanager.yml. The global setting. Global means to define any global variable like Slack API URL or any other URL. This is an example of my Slack URL channel, Slack channel URL. Create this etc alert manager alertmanager.yml file, and then these are receivers. Name is default. Email configuration to the field for configuration, email configuration to whom you want to send the alerts. Then from, then smart host, then SMTP username, SMTP password, HTML template name which will be used to send this email, and then name, Slack. So this is receiver is default is email, and then you are configuring Slack, then you are specifying Slack details. Send result true, username for Slack channel username, color configuration or title, then title link, pretext. These are all variable interpolation happening here. We are sending the name from the template slack.default.username, then status.firing, that is if equality status equal to firing, then good, else good. The difference here, we are specifying different values here. This is same but it should be different. The template default title, template Slack default title link, common annotation summary. This is the file where we specify the variables for Slack channel into these fields. Then this is the range alerts, description, details. So this is your alert manager.yml file. Name, email ID, the email ID configuration to email from smart. This is specific configuration, and the template alert.tmpl. The alert which is the template which is used wherever the word template is used. This is the template tmpl, where you specify the placeholders and the values, additional content, additional data along with the placeholder for the variables. So create a data folder at a root directory with the alert manager folder inside and change the ownership. You have seen during the demonstration. These are four main components of this file. One was global. We are going inside that file now, the alertmanager.yml. So one was global, second was root. Global is self-explanatory. Second was root, which is most important. It is a routing block. For example, routing on severity. Similarly, it is your choice on which variable you want to route your alerts. So if severity is info, then alert will go from Slack, or if severity is critical, alert will go via an email ID. Receivers define the channel by which alert will go, like email or Slack. Template, it is an alert template to define template for an email alert. It is not restricted to email. You can define a template for every channel. So this is the template alert.tmpl, which was referred in alert.yml file. So it should create into etc Prometheus alert.tmpl, and this is the template. So if you see, this is a normal CSS file, and then inside that we are putting the HTML file. We are creating a table with the proper headings and substitution of variables. Like this is your HTML page. We are creating a table body, range alerts. So label, alert name, host, summary, description. We are creating in the table format. Good formatted, well formatted table we are creating using proper CSS. And this is all logical flow can be created here. So this is the template which will be used by Alert Manager. So it will format your alerts when it is delivering to Slack or email or wherever you are sending it to. So this is what the alert is. Systemctl start Alert Manager, restart Prometheus, test the complete integration. If everything is set up correctly, and alert rules getting true, then it will trigger an alert. You can enable the log of Alert Manager for debugging purpose. If you want to test alert, then simply make threshold to very less. For example, 0% on 1% after 30 seconds, it should trigger the alert based on the channel you have configured or wherever you have configured the alert to go to. Visit localhost :9093. If there are some alerts, you will get the list of on the dashboard at this URL. Coming up next after the tea break, Prometheus internals, official documentation on Alert Manager. You can explore that here. You can explore receivers where the channel where the alert can go at this link, and explore more details about templates at this link, which will be definitely a good document to spend 10 minutes. Definitely you should try. And a good collection of alerting rules is given at this link. That's a very well collected. So I have done the research for you. You don't have to struggle on internet to find out the right kind of data. For every lesson, every lecture, you will find such important links. That's all for this session. Thank you very much, team.